Welcome to the Common Man Sports Show. I am your host, Nick Antoniadis, alongside Mikey Malashchek, Mike Marol, and Jackson Warren. Happy holidays, everyone. How was your guys' holiday?
Happy holidays, boys. Happy holidays.
Had the fish on Christmas Eve, probably like Tommy DeVito did too.
Awesome. So there was a lot to talk about this week for the NFL. Obviously, there was the Thursday game, then Saturday, then we had the Christmas Eve games, and of course, Christmas Day. So we're going to just go straight into it. So what I want to talk about first is the Saturday game with the Bills versus the Chargers, Vikings team. So the Bills came back and defeated the Los Angeles Chargers by a final score of 24-22. And it ended up being a field goal by Tyler Bass with 28 seconds left. And Josh Allen became the first player in NFL history with 4 consecutive seasons of a combined 40 touchdowns and the second quarterback to reach 50 career rushing scores. And now the Bills have won 4 of their last 5 games, and they're starting to creep up into that playoff chance. So, Mikey, you're the Buffalo Bills guy. What do the Bills need to do to get into that playoff spot?
Well, first, let's talk about the game itself. We're at a stage of the season where it doesn't really matter how you get a win. Getting that kind of win over that Chargers team maybe puts a little fear in your fans' hearts earlier in the season, but we're so late in the season, every win matters. And it was also had all the makings of what we call a trap game, coming off of blowing out the Dallas Cowboys, and then playing a Chargers game, which was a Chargers team which had just fired its coach and usually gets a bump from that. So it was a good win, even if it wasn't the blowout many of us were predicting. Now, as to your question, I think what we need to talk about is it's crazy that that's even a question to begin with, on both sides. I mean, you have this Buffalo Bills, which mostly has the same roster that it's had for years. 3 years in a row, AFC East champs. 2 of those years made it to the divisional round, and one of those years probably should have gone to the AFC Championship. That's the 13 seconds game. And one of those years made the AFC Championship. As you said, they have a quarterback who's top 5 at worst, top 2 according to some. Last year they were an absolute lock for the 1 or 2 seed in the AFC the entire season. So on one hand, if you said this time last year, are the Buffalo Bills going to make the playoffs in 2023? Of course they are. Why is that even in question? But then you have the other side of it, which is they had a roller coaster season, and that included a loss to Zach Wilson's Jets, and Mac Jones's Patriots, and the Broncos, who the Dolphins dropped 70 points on. So it's just been a wild season for the Buffalo Bills. Crazy how out of control things went, and how they both exceeded expectations past a certain point when it really looked like they wouldn't get in, but also fell short of expectations because no one would predict that at least 3 of those losses would be to the teams they were to. Now, as far as how they make the playoffs, they have to beat the Patriots, which sounds easy because it's the Patriots, but what happened last time they played these Patriots this season?
It's going to be not easy, but they're going to do it, Mike. It's without a doubt they're going to do it. If the Giants can do it, I'm not getting on that one. But like, if the Giants can do it, if your brotherly love state, Giant can do it, you guys can do it.
I think the Bills are going to win, but it's not going to be impressive, because it's a division rivalry. Division games are always tough, no matter what. And Bill Belichick has a history of screwing over the Buffalo Bills, so this could be his last season in New England. He might want to do it one last time before he heads out. But if they get that win, New York Times has them at 98% to win to get into the playoffs.
They're going to win.
Sorry?
They're going to win.
Yeah.
They're going to win. It's like, I get it. Like, you guys lost to them last time, but like, I really feel like the Bills, after this win have something to prove to themselves. Like, if they knock off the Patriots and they get back into this run of things, the next game is against Dolphins, right? And they have that drive. I feel like they could bounce back.
Well, the other thing is when they played the Patriots was when they were really in that slump where the offense was just not clicking. They were not running the ball. They were not handing it to James Cook at all. Diggs was getting triple covered, and Gabe Davis is very hit or miss.
It took him 5 games to get a tutty.
Yeah,
5 games to get a tutty. So I mean, I'm not putting it on my fantasy, but he sucked. He sucked a couple games, lost a couple games because of him not getting touchdowns. But
and then when you take him off your roster is when he has an amazing game.
He has an amazing fucking game. But it's okay. It's okay. You know what? He's a person. He's a human being.
You already lost the league. It's fine.
Shut Mike. We're not talking about this. All right. They don't need to know about that. All right. They don't need to know that I lost. It's okay. It's okay though. Next year I'm coming back harder.
So I mean, my whole point is the Bills shouldn't be in the position that they're in with the roster that they have: Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Deion Dawkins, all those good players. But they are. But it's okay. So they win this weekend. They get a couple help from the Seahawks beating the Steelers and the Chiefs. As a matter of fact, Chiefs helping the Bills. Wow. Chiefs beating the Bengals. Then they're in. A couple other scenarios. But not only that, if the Ravens beat the Dolphins, they could still win the AFC East, the Bills. So we're looking at a very interesting weekend playoff-wise for Buffalo.
And also, the Steelers did beat the Bengals on Saturday as well, so they also gave a little bit of a cushion for the Bills as well. I do see the Bills squeezing into the playoffs. Like you said, their schedule when they go up against the Patriots are going to be pushing for that first-round pick. And I know that you mentioned, this is Bill Belichick's last season. He's a guru when it comes to the defense. But at the end of the day, this is going to be a dominant offense going up against a team that doesn't even look like they're going to be playing well at all. So in my opinion, this is going to be an easy win for the Bills. And then their chances of even getting the playoffs has gone much higher. And that's an easy spot for that Bills team.
Yeah, like I said, it could be locked after this weekend. And I don't know. You guys don't think there's any chance, given what this team has been through, Buffalo, if their playoff spot is locked, do you think they would try to win the AFC East at all costs in Week 18? Or do you think they'd rest starters just to ensure?
If they start off hot in the first half, right? Let's just say if the game is 21-3, I'll start taking out people. And if
definitely take out Josh Allen.
We're not taking off Josh Allen. We're winning.
No, if you're saying that they should if it's a 23-3 lead, at that point, put in the backup quarterback. And I don't even know who's the backup quarterback for Buffalo.
Okay. Yeah. So if they do score the first touchdown, do you put Josh Allen back in, or do you just wait until it rides out? Because that's where you have to think about it.
Which game are we talking about right now?
The Patriots game. Or are you talking about the game next week, or are you talking about the last game?
I'm talking about the Dolphins.
The Dolphins
this is
game.
More hypothetical. Let's say they have a locked playoff spot. Do they rest against the Dolphins, or do they try to play for the home field advantage in the wild?
You gotta go
play for the. Thank you, Mike. Yeah. So if they're up by like I said, 21-3, and then they come into the half and they scored not a field goal, but they scored a touchdown. Yeah, so you start taking out people. If they're not dominating, no. You keep everybody in. You need that home field advantage. I know home field advantage didn't help them out against the Bengals last year, but they need it.
Especially that Buffalo crowd.
Yes, sir.
Bills Mafia in January.
That's true.
Josh
Allen is Mr. January after all.
Mm-hmm.
And
so we're all in agreement. We're all in agreement that that's going to be.
Yeah.
So we're all in agreement that.
Okay. A month ago, I wouldn't have agreed with you. The Bills are going to the playoffs, but they are now, I'd say.
And say they just make the wild card. Whoever they play, they have to strike fear in them. It's say they play, I don't know, the Browns or somebody like Jaguars. I know the Bills have had their off season, but facing Josh Allen and that stacked offense where you have James Cook, Diggs, Davis, who pick their games when they want to go off. That's still scary to face. they have their moments where they could just completely shut down a game. My biggest problem with the Bills is more their defense. I'm still
They're
a Josh Allen believer, but what do I know about quarterback? So
That's the same thing with the Dolphins too. Like their defense is atrocious, but their offense carry up that team. So that's also going to be
their
another thing.
defense has gotten better
I
recently.
mean, they've improved, but they're more into that offense. Like especially that game when the Bills were up against the Dolphins earlier in the season. Like that was a blowout mainly because of that defense. Like they have Tua, who anytime you throw it, Tyreek or Jalen Waddle,
Waddle is
Raheem-
open.
and then Raheem Mostert, who's I think he's leading the league in rushing touchdowns. Or
Rushing
I know he has like
I think he's
22
rushing.
touchdowns in the season.
he broke the Dolphins' single season record, I think.
Yeah,
All I know is that the Dolphins are. I mean, somebody can hang on that, but like I feel like the Dolphins are a hit and miss team. Like they have
agree with
all
that.
the weapons, they have everything, they have all the utility that they need. They have like fast wide receivers. I feel like the Chiefs, how they were in a couple years back then, transitioned to the Dolphins.
Mhm.
They're like the new Chiefs. They're like putting up this new kingdom in Miami, but I feel like it's gonna be a fluke. I feel like they're gonna go maybe when they get in, probably the second game of the playoffs they lose. And I know that's bad of a prediction, and I know that's a hot take, but I really feel like it's gonna hit the fan when Tallulah is versing up a better team.
Speaking of the Chiefs, we're actually going to move towards the Christmas game, the first Christmas game on Monday. It's the Chiefs versus the Raiders. The Raiders coming back from a 63-21 win on Thursday against the Los Angeles Chargers. They go to Kansas City to go up against the Chiefs on Christmas Day, and they upsetted them by a final score of 20-14. Patrick Mahomes went 27 for 44 with 235 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception, And the big thing is that Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, they threw a crap ton of tantrums during this game. You saw Travis Kelce, he threw his football helmet, and then immediately Andy Reid was like, yeah, don't pick up that helmet. You're going to be staying on the sideline. And you see Patrick Mahomes on the sideline crying after the game, losing to the Las Vegas Raiders. And you got to see Max Crosby smoking cigars in the locker room. All of that.
Like
This
a
Raiders
boss.
team, like an absolute boss.
Like a boss.
All right. At the end of the day, this Raiders team is playing upset season. They're going up against top teams, and they're ruining their possible chances of, just losing hope and losing chemistry. So, Mike, I'm going to give you this question right here. What is going on with the Kansas City Chiefs, and how do you feel about Mahomes and Travis Kelce throwing this tantrum onto the field?
Well, first off, it's a bad year for quarterbacks. Mahomes hasn't been himself this year. It's shocking to see. But I haven't seen enough Chiefs games to see exactly what is the problem. But every Chiefs game that I've seen so far, I'd say is the lack of weapons that Mahomes has. You look back on week 1 in that Detroit Lions Thursday night football game. Kadarius Toney dropped nearly every pass thrown. Sky Moore wasn't there. He has a new weapon in Rashee Rice, and I think his name is Justin Watson. And obviously he has Kelce there the whole time, but it doesn't help when there's 2 guys covering him nearly 90% of the plays. So it's tough to see him go like that. I understand the tears. I think he was emotional when Kadarius Toney messed up that game-winning touchdown. That was against the Bills, I think, right?
No, it was against the Eagles. You're talking about that like Hail Mary?
Oh, which one? He's missed a lot of game.
No,
winning
it's
touchdowns.
what I mean.
it's with the Bills. It's with the
when he
Bills.
was- he was offside.
when he was
Okay.
offside.
It was offside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
How
too
he went
many
to Josh Allen.
There's too many Kadarius Toney moments, so I can't even.
That's
Like
the thing.
how?
Oh, go ahead. Say what you want.
No, you can go on, Mike.
It's tough to see it. Like people, I know Jackson was talking about this before, that like make fun of him crying, but like you gotta understand it in a way. Like he's just a competitive guy. I remember when Caleb Williams was crying earlier this year at USC. You just fell for him because that's just a competitor. Like
I get-
Mahomes. Go ahead.
No, go on.
Mahomes
Keep
has,
on
like-
cutting this dude off. My bad.
Mahomes has like been on top, I want to say, since like Brady left. But even Brady dealt with his fair share of people saying this and whatever about him, and it's just adversity. But so say what you want about the Chiefs, but like I don't see them doing much this year. I know there's a whole other factors like celebrity dating going on with this that you could blame it on, but
Preach,
but
Mike.
but next year I could guarantee you Mahomes is going to be way better. Like this is like his villain year, where he's going to learn a lot.
His villain arc.
He just won a Super Bowl and an MVP though, and I mean, when you didn't see Jalen Hurts or Joe Burrow or Josh Allen throwing fits when they lost consequential games that potentially robbed them of career-defining championships. I mean, Mahomes is acting this way after losing regular season games. I mean, I feel for him and his competitive spirit, but come on.
At the same time.
But you could also make the argument that both of them are different by the way that they react to stuff. Like for Josh Allen, the game where he lost, with 13 seconds left, obviously he was bummed out, but he didn't go on the field and talk shit to Mahomes. And then when Mahomes lost because they made that offside call, when they were saying good game to each other, he just straight up said to Josh Allen, "That was the worst fucking call that I've ever seen."
Yes.
So there's moments.
He screwed
Dude.
Josh Allen. Not screwed because it wasn't unfair. He just had a better game, but he is the man responsible for stopping Josh Allen from arguably 2 Super Bowls.
And he had that to him. It was ridiculous. He should have never said that. If he was like a leader, he should have never said that. That's why I'm like a certain way about Patrick Mahomes this year. He's showing his to me his true colors in a way. Like yes, he's competitive, but he's also he's starting to be a baby. He's starting to be like LeBron James in the NBA. I mean, I like LeBron. A lot of people like LeBron, but he's starting to act like a crybaby. All right. And I'm not here for it. I feel like the Chiefs, they just came off, like Mikey said, a win. Patrick Mahomes, a win, a Super Bowl win, and an MVP. You should be leading by example, not showing off that you're a little baby. Yes, throw a tantrum here and there, but you shouldn't be crying out there. Just lead. That's it. That's done deal. And for Travis, I'm not getting on his case, but sometimes when you win champions and you talk big game and you want to be big dog on campus, big tight end on campus, sometimes you have to take a sacrifice in relationships to be that dog that you want to be. I get it that you want two Super Bowls for a tight end. There's another tight end and that was in the NFL that has more chips than you. I'm talking about Gronkowski. I know you want to be better than Rob. I know. But if you keep on, with this little thing called Taylor Swift, right, interrupt your focus on your game, homeboy, I think you need to cut it off. Easy. I'm not saying Taylor's the issue. I'm saying he doesn't know how to pick his, priorities. You do a bye week and go with your girlfriends to Dubai. Homeboy, I bet he never saw the playbook. I bet he never went over his plays, never saw his highlights, what he messed up on. He thought he's just going to wing it. And he sucked. He sucked. I don't care what people say. He sucked. So when you do this type of stuff, I see as the Chiefs, this year, not going anywhere. Guys are going to stay home. Maybe get a playoff appearance, but guess what? You guys are going to lose.
Because they're going to get a playoff appearance. I mean, who else is going to win the AFC West? Do the Raiders have a chance?
Look, when I saw what was a couple days ago, I was happy. Because this was one of the things that I love to see. If a quarterback really under pressure, not getting maybe 2 or 3 sacks, he was getting hit. And even without the ball in his hand, he was getting touched. And Patty was not feeling it. And he was getting that pressure and he was throwing those interceptions. And I was like, damn, these Raiders look different. These Raiders look like the old school Raiders. We're going to knock some sense into you. And Patty, he was not there. Max Crosby, home dog, was kicking his ass. He was everywhere. Even if he wasn't getting the full sack, he got some leather. He got some of the shoelace. He got something. He was making sure that, hey, bro, I'm there. I'm going to be there all the time. And I felt like Patrick Mahomes just slipped up. He didn't have his, composure, because sometimes he'd be like, all right, and the next play he'll do better. And then he was just marching down the field and then a mistake. Marching down the field, a mistake. So with the Chiefs and the organization, yes, you could go with the wide receivers not, completing, being on key with them. But we knew this in the beginning of the year. They started off on the wrong foot. If I was Patrick Mahomes, and I mean, I know I'm yelling, I need to calm down, but if I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm making so much money. And I want to be the best. If I want to be the best player, but let's cut that out. Best quarterback in the league possible. I'm going to take times with my wide receivers. I'm going to be like, dude, what are you not getting? If I'm throwing it, you should catch it. You should tuck, not slip, and then be like, oh, I got you, nice time. No, dude, I'm supposed to win. Not supposed to win, but I'm going to win. We're gonna be on par, and now you guys are slipping up even more. It shows to me that you're not taking that leadership and talking to your wide receivers and tight ends. It doesn't show me that you're actually there. It just shows me that you're just doing the job, and that's it. And you're taking the money, and that's it. And with Andy Reid, I saw the video. He bumped Travis Kelce. He was acting like a baby back beat. All right. I feel bad for him because it's wasting times. You're wasting years. You're wasting years of people who are trying to be better than themselves. You're wasteful. This is a wasteful year. The Chiefs could have come back to the Super Bowl and won. Possibly. And this would have been like what, 3 times? What, back to back or back to back to back, right?
Back to back because they lost to Cincinnati.
Yeah. So in my mind, this will be a perfect year. But no, you guys want to be chilled out. No, you guys want to take trips to Dubai. I understand that. But if you can't show up to these games, the games that you're supposed to be winning, the games that you're supposed to be not maybe blowing them out by, but winning and losing, something is fishy. Something is fishy, and I don't like it. If I was the organization, I don't like what's going on. I'm talking to them because it's getting out of hand.
The one thing that's kind of concerning too now is that there's a possible chance that this Kansas City Chiefs team, they're going to be playing on the road in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes in his career I don't think he has played on the road in a playoff game, which is probably going to be a big problem as well. He's always been used to Kansas City playing. And that's going to be a little bit of a different feeling for him, that he's not going to have the Kansas City crowd that he's going to be playing in a playoff game. And another thing is, I think they lost, I want to say like 2 out of the last 3 games. They lost to Green Bay. They had that really embarrassing loss against Denver. And then they had lost to the Las Vegas Raiders. You go up against 3 teams that you know that Denver is not making the playoffs. You know that possibly that Vegas is not making the playoffs. And for the Packers, maybe they'll squeeze in there, but I don't see it happening. These are games that they're supposed to win. These are games that if you're a good team, you have to win these games. They're 9-6 right now. If they won those games, quick math, they're going to be 12-3. They're going to have the same record as the Baltimore Ravens right now. And now we're going to go into the Baltimore Ravens. Hands down, the biggest game of the regular season. The Baltimore Ravens versus up against the San Francisco 49ers. Both teams extremely hot. And this was the game that everyone was looking forward to. The Ravens were the team that were supposed to be the underdogs, and they ended up beating the 49ers by a score of 33-19. They locked up Brock Purdy the whole entire game. He went 18 for 32 with 4 interceptions. Lamar Jackson looked like him. And at the end of the day, this Ravens team just looks so good against a very, very difficult San Francisco 49ers team. So, Jackson, I'm going to give you this question. Is it safe to say that the Baltimore Ravens are going to be Super Bowl favorites? And do you see that Lamar Jackson could be now the favorite to win MVP?
I just want to say I'm really happy with the Ravens right now. I am a New York Giants fan. I know that you guys can hate whatever. I don't care. But Lamar Jackson got so much lick from the NBA as being a quarterback. And now being a hush up and actually having people on his side, he's doing something amazing. And it's killing everybody because everybody thought he was not going to be like this. He's going to have his wide receivers and still be the same Lamar Jackson. I see a different Lamar. And it's great to see. I want to lock in the Ravens. I don't think that they're pretenders. They're contenders. They're not pretenders. I don't care. And let's just take the offensive side. Their defense is scary. It's like they make one mistake and then everybody's like, all right, we got the next like 3 plays. We got the next 3 plays. Maybe that one play will slip up, and then we got the next 3, and then we got the next 4, and we're on. And they're on. They were torching that Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was not looking like himself. He looked a little bit old. He looked like he didn't have his steps back. He took a 1, 2, 3, drop, and then he got dropped a little bit. He took a throw and got intercepted. It looked like, I don't know, like the Ravens and the Raiders looked like an old school version of themselves. It looked like they got their groove back. Their defensive line got their groove back, and I'm loving it, man. And with Lamar being Lamar, I mean, I felt like that ref, he tripped him on purpose. He could have gotten away out of Lamar's way, but whatever. I feel like he's on something. He's on something different, and he's being quiet. He didn't really care about the MVP award this year. If you guys were, when people were asking him, like, "Oh, do you really do you hear about the MVP? Do you care about it?" He's not. He's focused. This boy is focused, and I'm happy and I'm hyped for him because he needs to prove out something that he has that. Like you said, Nick, he is him. I feel like he is him. And maybe finally, for the love of God, it is his year to shine off. Because now I'm saying the Chiefs are not looking themselves. The Bills are not looking themselves. It's time. It's time. It's time to show up. And I feel bad for San Francisco because it was a tough game. Going close to the fourth quarter. They were like trying to come back, but they didn't. But Lamar Jackson just in the pocket just looks different. Just totally different. Like even with the pressure, yes, he got sacked, like a couple of sacks. But even with the pressure, he's zooming out. He's feeling it before the play even happens. He was like, all right, if you're coming to my left, I'm already pulling to the right. And I'm gonna see somebody go to my right side, and I'm just gonna throw, dot. And I'm liking how he is, in the pocket more often and seeing his plays, not running off like he normally do. He would just get some pressure, he runs. Now he's like not slowing up, but he's looking to see if he actually has it. And to me, if these Ravens, my bad, I almost said Raiders, Ravens stay healthy, I feel like they're going to that Super Bowl. And possibly, whoever they verse, they're going to win. And that's going to be a whole nother discussion. Because I don't know about you guys, but I think a lot of people are going to hate me when Lamar wins. I'm just saying, if they win the Super Bowl, Lamar will win the Super Bowl MVP as well. So that's all I got to say.
Well, I mean, I'm happy for Lamar that he's back in the conversation because I think it was personally a little unfair. This guy already won MVP. And then he was kind of just like out of the conversation. I know he was injured and whatnot, but he was just totally out of the conversation for a couple years. And everyone was, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Hurts, now Purdy. So I'm definitely happy to see him, doing well. But I don't think he'd be the favorite for MVP if the Ravens didn't have the record that they had. I mean, look at his stats and look at some other quarterback stats. Look at Josh Allen's stats. Josh Allen might be the favorite for MVP if his team was 12-3 or 12-4. I don't know what the Ravens record is.
It's 12-3.
12-3. Lamar is great. And as I said, I'm happy to see him back in the conversation. And I think Ravens are probably the safest bet for the Super Bowl, just because this year very much defines any given Sunday because so many teams have lost games that they shouldn't have and won games that they shouldn't have. You mentioned the Raiders. How about the Jets beating the Eagles, and then they jetsed it, but
it's Giants beating Green Bay. That was a big game.
How about Giants taking Philly to one score?
One score. Ooh, that was.
The Ravens should definitely be the favorite on the basis of they are the most consistent. They haven't really fallen victim to the any given Sunday trope. I just don't think Lamar would be the favorite for MVP with the stats he has if they weren't 12-3. That's
what's so weird about the MVP conversation is like when one quarterback does well, they're in the running. If one person does well, they're in the running. And it goes week by week by week. You know, there was one week that they're like, okay, Jalen Hurts is going to get it. Okay, now they're losing a couple games. Okay, Mahomes is going, okay, maybe it's going to be a running back that's going to win this. And then now Brock Purdy gets it 4 interceptions. Now everyone's like, okay, Lamar Jackson is now the favorite. So it's such a weird year when it comes to the MVP conversation because people always say the MVP is quarterback award. And
Right.
I mean, yes, you could say that you can have Christian McCaffrey in the conversation. If Tyreek Hill gets 2,000 yards, you could put him in the conversation. But in this year, like I wouldn't mind who gets MVP this year. It can be anyone. And you can even say, you know, Lamar Jackson is the favorite. Then you could say, you know, if he loses, maybe you could put Josh Allen in the conversation. If he loses, maybe you would decide, okay, maybe quarterback is not going to be today. So it's such a weird year.
That's true because what's the next game for the Ravens? The Dolphins?
The Ravens are going to be going
Mhm.
against the Dolphins, yes,
So
on New Year's
in my
Eve.
mind, if I'm not correct, it's going to be correct. If the Ravens beat the Dolphins, let's say by like 10 plus points by Lamar Jackson having a lovely day, he's going to, I think that's a lock.
Okay.
I changed my answer because I was thinking about what Mikey was saying because it's like, and Nick was saying too, like you said, it changes from week by week, from quarterback from having a bad day. Lamar was on. I mean, he's been on, but like just a way. And I want to say it's not all Lamar's show. It's also that defense of the Ravens. They've been helping Lamar out. And I feel like their defense for the past like couple years weren't as good into those plays, into those clutch situations, but they were helping Lamar out and winning those games this year.
And they should beat the Dolphins, by the way, because the Dolphins
They
and
should.
the Cowboys was just the fraud bowl, and it turned out the Cowboys were bigger frauds than the Dolphins. So there you go. Ravens should destroy the Dolphins, in my opinion.
I mean, if you looked at that game, it was just all just Dak Prescott and what's his name? CD Lamb. That was it. It was Dak Prescott, CD Lamb. Dak Prescott, CD Lamb. Somebody else, forgot his name. Dak Prescott, CD Lamb. That's all I know. Well, with the Cowboys, it's to me, I get it. You know, the Cowboys are always going to go to the playoffs, but it's just the same things.
The Cowboys were the first team above 0.500 at the time of playing them that the Dolphins have beaten since they beat the Bills in week 3 of last year. So I don't believe in this Dolphins team yet. They got to show me something more.
Because Talua is not a quarterback, and I'll say that Talua. I mean, look, my bad.
What's his
He's
name?
the NFL quarterback. Tua, whatever.
Talua is his youngest brother who plays for Maryland.
He looks a
I
little
thought
better than his
Talua
brother.
had a fake girlfriend in Hawaii.
Talua, Tyler.
Who's that?
I think Tua's good, but he didn't suddenly get amazing. He didn't suddenly
Overnight,
become top
no.
5 at the same time they signed Tyreek Hill. Like
No.
it's not, we signed Tyreek and Tua suddenly became amazing. No, Tyreek Hill is carrying that team. That's why he's in the conversation for
He's
MVP.
the engine because to
Tua
me,
is not.
let's say Lamar does slip up in that Dolphin game, and Tyreek Hill goes off, then it's going to be favoritism to Tyreek. And
Exactly.
everybody else is not going to have like a great, like the last game is not going to be that great, that talk. So it just depends. Like you said, it's going to take a week by week. So we're just going to go in there, blind, because if Lamar does have a great game, he still has it. But if he doesn't, I feel like Tyreek Hill is going to have, I think he's going to pass it in that game. I think he's going to pass the record in that game, hopefully, because that would be sick. Either or. Maybe it's a close game and, the Dolphins win by a touchdown because of Tyreek. That'd be sick. But, yeah, it's just day by day that we have to go by with MVP voting. It's going to be tough. This year is going to be tough.
It's definitely going to come down to the wire. It's definitely going to be like the second to last week or even the last week to find out who's going to be the MVP of this season. So, to wrap up our episode for today, I kind of want to talk about something a little bit different. So this actually came out today that the Broncos and Russell Wilson, they came out And they came out and said that they're going to be benching Russell Wilson for the rest of the season because of the whole injury guarantee that he was going to make because of his contract. And this was a report by Jordan Schultz. Basically, what it is that the Broncos threatened to bench Russell Wilson weeks ago. And, this was 2 days after the upset against Kansas City. And he told them that he was going to be inactive for the rest of the season if he did not adjust his contract and defer the injury guarantee trigger date that he has for the 2025 season. Russell Wilson, however, was quote unquote shocked about this whole situation. And it all came crashing down with Sean Payton and the other top level members of the Denver organization deciding to go ahead and sit Russell Wilson for the rest of the season. And they already made an announcement that by the end of the season, they're going to cut Russell Wilson and he's going to be a free agent after the season. So his time as a Denver Bronco has come to an end. People said this is the worst trade that has ever happened. So I want your guys' opinion on this. What is going to happen with Russell Wilson? And is this the worst trade in NFL history?
It's revenge for when he blew out Peyton Manning and the Broncos in the Super Bowl. That's what this was all about from day one. And that's all I have to say.
Bronco country, let's die. It's over. It's over for you guys. I mean, I did have some faith in Sean Payton coming to the Broncos and trying to redeem himself, not himself, but help out the team, get back to where they were a couple years back when Payton was on the team. But dude, holy God almighty, Russell Wilson is just, to me, a clown. He's just a clown. It's the word. What's the word? It's agonizing. Is that a word? I know my dyslexia is a little bit fucked up, but that word, right? You're supposed to be the guy that's helping out this team, not showboating, not kissing babies like he was doing, like he was trying to be the president of Denver. All right. You are a team player. You won a Super Bowl, haven't you? Oh, and almost won another one, but a mistake has been made
against the Broncos. It's revenge.
But anyway, I feel bad because they got in Sean Payton. Everybody thought they were going to be back in the playoffs. I thought they were going to be back in the playoffs. You have a guy named Sean Payton who helped out Drew Brees to get in the, they won a Super Bowl together. They went into playoffs. They should have went to another one because of a play. We're not getting into that. But you're tarnishing this man's career, Sean Payton's career, what he's made to do, to go to the playoffs. This was your year. Well, not your year, but your time to go into the playoffs. And it doesn't even look like it. And you're supposed to be a quarterback. And now you're getting benched. You're getting benched. Should have never asked for that trade, huh? Should have never asked for that trade. That trade was stupid, ridiculous. You thought you were somebody and you were nobody. You thought you were top 5, close to top 15, buddy. You forgot the one. You forgot the one. It's insane, not insane, but it's crazy to think that when this whole trade happened, I think a lot of people thought the Denver Broncos were coming back. We're going to be back on top.
Yeah, so what are the ramifications of this? Is their window going to be closed for a bit?
I want to say, who's their quarterback?
Jarrett Stidham.
Did you just make that up, or is that?
No, that's his real name, right? Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah, that's real.
He's starting.
Dude,
so this trade happened 2 years ago. The Seahawks got 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders, a 5th rounder, Drew Lock. We all know what Drew Lock did.
Drew Lock, he's good. He's good. He's a C, but go on.
Noah Fant and Shelby Harris. During Wilson's career in Denver, he had an 11-19 record. He only played 30 games with 42 touchdowns, and he had 19 interceptions. So at the end of the day, this was just
wow,
absolute mess.
Wow.
And I mean, you could say that, Wilson's had some life in him this season, but at the end of the day, this was just a flat out
shit show.
disappointment. This was a flat out
His fall
disappointment.
off was too crazy, but he's definitely gonna get signed by somebody. And like,
No.
one that comes to mind, like if he's signed, is like the Vikings.
Okay.
Like Kirk Cousins coming off an ACL injury.
But where do you think Kirk Cousins is gonna go to then?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
My opinion is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I've said this on another podcast on before that if the Giants were to draft a quarterback, maybe have Kirk Cousins compete with him, like start Kirk Cousins and have another guy learn under him.
What's his contract though?
I don't
Burn
know.
it,
I'm
throw it
I don't know the
away,
finances.
trade it to somebody. I don't care. I don't want Jalen Jones to be our quarterback. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. He hasn't shown me nothing. He showed me the same thing as almost last year, but like worse. The kid can't find nobody. He's tall as hell. All right, he's tall, but he's not doing it. He's not doing that much. He's not getting saved. He's not our true quarterback. It's time. Have a nice day. We get the money that we're with the quarterback. Maybe we get $80 million back, and we put that to Saquon. We should have never given that dude that money. We should have never. And I don't care what people said. We should have gave it to Saquon like we should. Because Saquon could have left. Saquon could, said, you know what, guys? Adios. And gone to a better team. And then guess what? We would have been fucked. The Giants would have been fucked if Saquon left. And you can think otherwise. If you think otherwise, think that. I'm not going to say what I think about you. But
I think otherwise.
Do you think otherwise?
Yeah, I think otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
So, say what you think about me.
Mike, it's over. Yo, put them up. Fisticuffs.
Yeah.
We're going on.
Being recorded, buddy.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
silent.
Who said Kirk Cousins to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and what
I
makes you
did.
say that?
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
In my personal opinion, like this
That would
Pittsburgh
work.
Steelers team is good. The only problem they didn't have a quarterback. I mean, Pickett was not good. Mason Rudolph is not good either. And you really think you're going to be riding with Mitchell Trubisky? You finally have a good veteran quarterback that can play well with George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Najee Harris. They have good pieces, but they just didn't have a quarterback. And their defense is absolutely incredible. If you have a good quarterback, this team is going to be good. So I believe that if you have a veteran, this Steelers team is going to be good.
Do you believe that, like, if this does work out, it would be like the Rams of, like, a couple years back when they got Matthew Stafford?
That's what I was
Oh,
thinking.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
that would, like, that whole demeanor, like, I feel like the Giants with Kirk Cousins, that wouldn't work out. But Kirk Cousins with the, Pittsburgh Steelers, that could work out because they just need a quarterback. They just need a quarterback.
Exactly.
Their defense is amazing.
It's the same thing with the Jets. They just need a quarterback, and then everything will fall into place.
Work.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
but
offensive
off
line
an
too.
ACL is so
I know,
dicey.
but
I mean, look
hey,
at Von Miller. He can't. He hasn't gotten close all season.
I mean, Von Miller had, like, what, a charge on him, so that's the only thing he got.
Apparently, the
this
charge
year.
was false.
It was
I think
false.
I think it was false. I know he turned himself in, and then the woman was like, never mind.
I heard something like that. But my point is, ACL. I mean, that's tough to come back. I guess Kirk might have an easier time because quarterback is not as physical as linebacker, obviously. But
Yeah.
Right. But still, injury is an injury.
Yeah.
So, who would you rather on the Steelers, Kirk or Russell?
Kirk Cousins. I haven't Russell.
We don't even know. I mean,
he would
I don't even know who he's
overlook.
thinking of.
He would overlook the wide receivers, and he would just be like, "Hey," he would just do the same thing that he did to Lynch. He's just like, "Hey, we'll get them next time." We just, hey, oh, sucks. We'll get them next time, right? Dude,
Get them next time.
oh my God, he just causes so much, like, not chaos, but like, you just want to slap him, just right in his face. Like, you're
Yo, what
supposed
did he
to
do
be
to you? Jesus Christ!
that game against the Patriots.
Oh, I was gonna say.
If you're
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're the quarterback, you're about to beat the Patriots. This is like about to be like almost the nail in the coffin on the Patriots. And you get a play that says you need to pass. I will look at my coach and I'm like, we got beast mode in the backfield. Like, we could just do this a couple times and let's just see if he got it. To me, just give him some candy, some Skittles. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Oh no, let's just pass. I would have gone in that huddle and been like, look, Lynch, you're running. I don't care what player, draw, whatever. We're just gonna run it, dive, whatever it takes. We're winning this game. But no, he wanted it to go out, a little pass, and then got it intercepted. I hated him since. Ever since that. And then when he left, he thinks he was like, the man. He was like, I'm leaving Seattle, I'm going to Denver. I'm like, dude, what the Pete Carroll has done for you, you shut up. Just shut up. Sit down, drama queen. Sit down. You have good wide receivers. You still have DK Metcalf. Sit your butt down. You still have Lock. Sit your butt down. You still have good running backs at a time. Still, like a couple years back, Seattle had good wide receivers and running backs. So to me, Russ Wilson, like I'll say again, sit your drama queen ass down. That's it. You need to stop. And just maybe take a year off of being quarterback. Just take a year off. Nobody needs you.
So that's actually going to be wrapping up our today's episode. Be sure to follow us on TikTok, X, and also on IG. On TikTok, it's Common Man Sports. On X, it's CMS Sports. And also on IG, follow us on official Common Man Sports. And we also have some articles coming out on commonmansports.com. Thank you guys all for watching today's episode of the podcast. Next week is going to be a brand new year. It's going to be 2024. We're going to be having a great time with the new year, talking about a brand new
Jackson's going to be 24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's motherfucker.
So, with that being said, I'm Nick Antonianis alongside Mikey Malashchek, Mike Morrell, and Jackson Warren. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one, and we'll see you all next year.
Peace, bitches.